Hi, I'm Joseph Berardo. At MAGNACARE, we believe that all citizens need to be informed about the health care issues that affect their lives. That's why we're proud to support the programming produced by the CAUCUS Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by United Water. Making the planet sustainable is the best job on Earth. The New Jersey Education Association, Wells Fargo, Berkeley College, MAGNACARE, the Russell Berry Foundation, and by Fedway Associates. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, Small News, Big News, True Jersey, and by NJ Biz, all business, all New Jersey.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Welcome to One-on-One. I'm Steve Adubato. It is my pleasure to introduce, for the first time, Dr. Celines Morales Ribeiro, who is a bariatric surgeon at Englewood Hospital and Medical Center. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
I think there's some confusion about bariatric surgery. What is it?
Bariatric surgery is weight loss surgery. So there are a few different types of surgeries that can be done, but it's a surgery after you've attempted numerous dietary programs or regimens to lose weight, and you're having a difficulty losing the weight. So sometimes your team of doctors refer you and to see if you're a candidate for weight loss surgery.
Obesity, a big problem.
Obesity is a big problem in the
big?
United States. They say about over a third of adults in the U.S. Are obese. About over 15% of our adolescents are obese.
Can we define it? How do we define? Like, what is the body mass index thing? Like, there's so confusion about that. People go, oh, let me get out that thing where I measure your body. Like, what? Get that thing away from me. Like, is that the way we do it?
It is, especially measured if you're a candidate for surgery. Your body mass index is a calculation. It's based on your height and your weight, and you plug it in and it tells you what your BMI is. You know, an ideal BMI, usually in your 20s, and as it goes up, that means you go from ideal to overweight to obese to morbidly obese.
Is over 40 obese?
Over 40 is morbidly obese.
Morbidly? Mm-hmm. Obese is over 30?
And between 35 to 39, you're then considered obese. So morbidly obese, your BMI is greater than 40, or you're over 100 pounds over your ideal weight.
Wow. So again, different kinds of bariatric surgery. Governor Christie had what kind of surgery?
Governor Christie had a completely restrictive procedure. When you look at the bariatric procedures, you think of restrictive and malabsorptive. So restrictive meaning that it literally restricts the amount of food you can take in. So the true restrictive surgery would be the band. So he had a band placed at the most top of his stomach, sort of creating what I like to call a pseudo pouch, because it's not a true pouch because the stomach is not divided, but he eats a small amount of food. It sort of gets held up right at the top of the stomach, and it sort of gives him a feeling of fullness. So then he should slow down his eating and eat less, and then in turn he'll lose weight.
And the other types are?
The other types of surgery are the gastric bypass, which has been around the longest. It's not only restrictive, but it's malabsorptive, meaning restrictive because in that surgery we actually do cut and staple the stomach, creating a small pouch.
It's just a smaller stomach.
Yeah, it's a smaller stomach, but also to that surgery, we go down below to the intestines, cut the intestines and reroute it. So instead of now going through eating and going through your esophagus, your stomach, and the beginning of the small intestine, it goes the esophagus, small pouch of the stomach, and directly to the distal part of the intestines.
Is that the most invasive?
You know, people always come and say, I don't want to have the bypass, or the other one I haven't talked about yet is the sleeve because it's too invasive. In reality, all of them we do laparoscopically. You get 5 little incisions, so they're all invasive, and meaning you all have to have general anesthesia and we are going to operate on you. But I guess with the bypass, it's the one that we do the most cutting and rerouting of intestines, and that causes the malabsorption component.
Question. The bariatric surgeries you just described, are they a cure for obesity?
I think they are a help. It's not a quick fix. It's not an easy solution. It is a tool. And this is what I try to explain to my patients time and time again, that this is by no means a quick fix. You can't just come into the office, say, I'm 100 pounds overweight, I have diabetes, high blood pressure.
Yeah, fix me.
Yeah, fix me. No. It helps tremendously. They lose a tremendous amount of weight. Their medical problems usually get much better or go away. However, they have to do their part also.
And there's a big emotional, psychological piece to this.
Absolutely.
Describe it.
Well, again, before they even get to surgery, they have to have a psychologic evaluation. But it is a huge component because so much of their lifestyle completely gets altered. Not only, the amount of weight that they're losing, but what they're used to their entire life of the way they were eating, what they're eating is completely changed. And a lot of people, in reality, their food was their addiction, so now they can't turn to that. So sometimes you can see them turning to other addictions. So you have to make sure that emotionally, psychologically, they understand and they're ready for these major changes so that they don't go to other addictions.
So you just led to my next question, life after surgery.
Most people, life after surgery, they are, I don't know, they're ecstatic. They're so happy, especially.
How do you know? How do they communicate that to you?
Well, yesterday I saw a good number of patients, and yesterday was a great day in the office. This is my favorite type of day. When people come in, and I did a few of them, we see them several times throughout the year, but yesterday I saw a number of people that were at their 1-year mark. And people came in crying. Somebody brought me a whole bouquet of flowers. Their life completely changes.
What does it do for them?
It just,
For example?
This guy, one guy, he came in, he has lost over 100 pounds. He lost 120 pounds. He emotionally was very depressed, didn't have a job, didn't like to go out. Now he's like, I would have never thought that at 52 years old, my life would have changed. He has a job, he has no sleep apnea, his diabetes has gone away, no blood pressure, on no medications, had increased self-esteem, is going out, found himself a girlfriend, is now engaged, moving to Florida. So he's ecstatic.
It goes all the way from great stuff like that to people who couldn't pick up their kids before, right?
Exactly. I have another patient. She has lost over 100 pounds also. She had triplets. She could not keep up with them. She couldn't even pick them up. And now she's doing great. She goes out with them. She can pick them up. She can run with them.
It's clear why you love your work. You make a great impact on people. Dr. Celines Morales Ribeiro, who is bariatric surgeon at Englewood Hospital Medical Center. Thank you for being here, but also the work you do every day.
Thank you for having me.
Stay right there. We will be right back right after this. That's really amazing.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We are honored to welcome Bill Ripken, the co-founder of the Cal Ripken Sr. Foundation and analyst for MLB Network, the MLB Network. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
You come from baseball royalty.
I don't know if it's royalty.
I'd say so.
Well, if you think
I'm a Yankee fan, and
all
I'm
right,
saying
well,
that.
let me put it to you this way: when you're a brother of Cal Jr., and I think everybody.
By the way, did he have a pretty good career?
I think it was pretty good.
Go ahead.
And he's the Iron Man, and he's the Hall of Famer. I think what people lose sight of was the fact that there had to be someone above him to actually shape and mold that, and that happened to be Senior.
Talk about him.
And he was just this simple kind of guy that was very much nuts and bolts, very basic. If I can touch it, I can fix it type mentality. And when you think about Cal Jr., the Iron Man, he was big, he was talented. He would have played in the big leagues, but without Senior's influence on him, probably would not be the Iron Man, probably would not be in the Hall of Fame.
Why is that?
Just the way he went about his business. I mean, I was not as big, I was not as talented as my brother. I ended up getting 12 years in the big leagues, once again, probably because of the result of Senior on me. There was this very direct type of teaching that Dad was able to do. And a lot of it revolved around the basics, but don't let the basics fool you that it's not in depth, because it is. We can go deep all day long in the baseball world, but we also can take something that's very deep and bring it down into its basics form, and that's what Dad did.
Well, you come from an amazing family, but it's not just talent and hard work. You're also very committed. And through our friends at United Water, they told us about you guys and the fact that there's an initiative called Badges for Baseball that I want to talk about, which is very important because it's making a huge difference. Badges for Baseball. Talk about it.
Well, I think the cool thing about that is some of these areas that we're going in through the foundation, some of these kids probably look at the men and women wearing uniforms as the bad guys. And some of these tie-in projects that we're doing through Badges in Baseball revolve around nice facilities. So if you have a nice facility and a kid wants to go to that, and maybe instead of going down the street and turning left, where there might be something wrong down there, and he takes the chance and turns right. And
mostly in urban communities.
Yes.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Certainly in areas of need.
Yes.
And now we're partnering, with United Water, with law enforcement agencies from the federales all the way down, to the very entry level when you're talking about these things. Now the officers are viewed upon as the good guys.
How does it work?
And their friends. Well, let's say we bring in a group of officers and we kind of give them some ins and outs of baseball. Look, we're not trying to breed big league baseball players. That's not the goal here with the foundation and Badges for Baseball. But what we're doing is giving them a couple tidbits where they volunteer their time. We already know the officers are doing things for the right reason anyway. Now we're bringing them into the area. We give them a couple tidbits of baseball. They become friends and form this bond with the youth in that area. And I don't need to look at studies to see this is going to be a good thing. Common sense tells me you bring law enforcement and kids of need together and they can hang out, they become the mentors for these kids for a long, long time.
So, Bill, let me ask you this. What is it about baseball? I mean, we have two sons who are 10 and 12 playing baseball right now, and I'm a big fan of teamwork and the leadership and the camaraderie and the whole bit. But I also see them acting, negative towards each other, blaming each other, like weird stuff goes on. Like life. I'm convinced baseball is a metaphor for life, but not everyone sees it that way. Do you believe with these kids and these officers that it is a metaphor for life?
I do, and it's kind of funny you brought that up because my dad always said, what you do in life, you do in baseball, and what you do in baseball, you do in life. And let's look at it this way. Some of these kids...
you can cheat in baseball, you can cheat in life.
It's true.
Yeah. I'm not going to name names, but go ahead.
No, but if you're going to play the game fairly in baseball, you usually play the game of life fairly as well. But let's look at it this way. We host camps from the foundation. United Water's been helping us out, sending us kids down there for our summer camp. So let's say we take 40 kids out of Jersey City. We take 40 kids out of Cleveland. We take 40 kids out of Detroit.
That's right.
You bring 120 kids into our facility.
And we're looking at it right now.
It's amazing at what goes on when you see these 120 kids get together. They realize that they're not as different as they may have thought.
That's right.
They come from same circumstances. You put these kids out on the field, you teach them a little bit of baseball. But once again, it's not about big league baseball. It's about the teaching of life lessons and things like that you can learn on a baseball field. But you'll see kids that will look out after other kids, might not be as good a player, and somebody might be making fun of the kid for swinging and missing, and you'll see somebody step up and say, hey, it's not that easy. And you'll see a kid take a leadership role and do some things that you wouldn't think of, and it's because of the environment that we're putting out there. All it takes is the right person. Let's bring one of our officers of the law in to the mix, and he says, hey, dude, that's not right. And then one kid will pick up on that, and then it goes right down the line. So it really is what you do out there on a baseball field, how you go about your business, same thing in life.
You got me thinking. Things are so connected, or not, but in my head it is. As a student of leadership, you just made me think that was just an example of leadership. Stepping up. Someone doesn't even give you the big C to put on your jersey, which makes you the official what?
Captain.
No one even gives you the big C.
Right.
But you just gave an example of someone stepping up and saying, oh, wait a minute, that's our teammate. You don't make fun of them. I often ask people the biggest leadership lesson they've learned in life so far, in their professional life, or what's the biggest leadership lesson you've learned, whether in baseball or not, so far?
Wow, there's so many. There really is. But
Pick one that sticks
it's kind
with
of
you.
funny, though, when you talked about the C. Did Derek Jeter actually have the C on his jersey?
Nope.
No.
Never.
Was there any doubt who the captain was?
Never.
Was there any doubt who the leader was?
Never.
He did things the right way on a baseball field. He did the right things off the baseball field. And when you look at that, look, I was an Oriole, the family was an Oriole, and things like that. New York to us sometimes was the evil empire. But I would always tell kids that are coming through our facility and our camps, did you watch how Derek Jeter played? Now, was he the best player the Yankees had all the time? Probably not. But there was no doubt who was in charge and who did the right things and how he went about his business and how he played. And I'll guarantee if someone said something about one of Derek Jeter's players or teammates, any given time he would say, no. He's one of us. If he's struggling, he's working on getting better, and we're going to stick by him. And that's an important lesson, how Derek Jeter ran to first base hard every single time, how he handled himself off the field. I mean, those are kind of players. There are players that you don't want to look at the big league level, and you can point them out. We don't need to do that.
No, we don't need
But
to.
there are certain players like a Derek Jeter that we can always point out.
Real quick, on the foundation, before I let you out of here. You guys doing something in Jersey City, in St. Anthony's?
We dealt with the high school, and us and United Water, the Cal Ripken Sr. Foundation, donated $30,000 of sports equipment to those guys. We've been doing some badges and baseball program in Jersey City. We haven't built one of our youth development parks. We're putting up these parks where we have 37 of them to date. By the end of June, we will have over 50 youth development parks.
And we're talking all over the place.
We're talking about state-of-the-art facilities where this is what I'm talking about. If a kid has a choice to go left or right, and this facility's to the right, we hope he does that, because any given day, he could go left away from this facility and do something that he might regret for the rest of his life. And if we keep putting these things up all over the place, we got a chance.
All I know is Cal Ripken Sr. Taught you guys pretty well. So Bill Ripken, I want to thank you so much for joining us. And you are the co-founder of the Cal Ripken Sr. Foundation. People can also see you on the MLB network. I want to thank you. You honor us and you honor your family.
Well, I appreciate your time. Let me get the message
Thanks,
out.
buddy. Stay
Thank
right
you,
there.
Steve.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Stay with us. We'll be right back. Really appreciate it.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We are pleased to be joined by Mark Mautone, the 2015 New Jersey Teacher of the Year, pre-K special education teacher at Wallace Elementary School. How you doing?
Good.
We're about to see a video from the Classroom Close-Up series done by our partners at the New Jersey Education Association. I met you in Atlantic City.
Yes.
The NJEA convention, right? That was great?
That's right. It was awesome.
It was great.
Had a great time.
Real quick, before we see this video, how great is it being Teacher of the Year?
It's awesome. You know, you're able to visit schools, educators. You get to see what's going on in different communities. Something that you're not going to get being in the classroom, you know, all the time, you know. So it's been really great. Connecting educators with educators throughout the state, even across state lines. So
you're an ambassador for educators. I just made that up.
It sounds
true.
good, but
it is true. You ready to see this video?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I know you've seen it, I've seen it, but more importantly, you need to see it. This is Classroom Close-Up, seeing the Teacher of the Year. It's great stuff. Check it out.
Thursday, high five. Awesome job. All right.
Since 1995, Mark Mautone, a pre-K special education teacher, has devoted much of his time to doing what is best for his students.
Teasing Mr. Alligator can't catch.
Selected as the 2014-2015 New Jersey State Teacher of the Year, Mark's dedication and passion is not only felt by his colleagues, but also by his students.
What letter makes it sound? J. Oh, you're so smart. Autism, I find, is a very complicated disability. It's complicated because every child I've ever worked with have always need something individualized. It's not a cookie cutter approach in how we teach it. And not just in the classroom, but even the needs inside a home environment are so different. It's really a clean slate, and you need to really build a foundation for that child so that that child can learn.
Ava was diagnosed as being on the autism spectrum when she was 2.5. We did 6 months of early intervention, and then she was transitioned into the ABA program, which Mark runs. So I was always comfortable with her being in special ed. I mean, obviously, it's everyone's dream for their child to be mainstreamed, and I feel, under Mark's direction, she has been able to reach her potential. He's given us hope and help when we felt hopeless and helpless. I made a lot of dreams come true.
When you're a teacher, I think you bring some of that parenting in the classroom. I think there's more of an understanding, but there's also that understanding of what goes on in your child's education as well. My son was about 2 years old. We knew he was having speech delays. We had him evaluated for speech, and we found out he had a 9-month delay. And the next day, he ended up going into seizures right at dinner. He's on medication now. He's in a preschool classroom. He receives speech. So, I just want to make sure in the end that he's happy. That's it. It's like any of the children that come in my class. You took him from there, and where do you want to put him? You just want to swing him? My goal for each child is that they are able to learn to their maximum potential. Because even at the preschool, you're building that foundation. If I've set low expectations for them, then everybody's going to set low expectations for them. Don't ignore them just because, well, they have a disability. They don't know how to say hi. We'll teach it to them. It doesn't make a difference because they deserve that. I don't like to use the word success. I like to use that we're on the right path. Stop that monkey right at it. Did you like that song? Yeah.
How personal is all this for you?
Very. It's very personal. I think when we talk about what we go into our careers for, in education, we talk about passion, we talk about the love of learning. There is something else that you just can't describe. And it's getting children to learn when people thought it was either impossible or they've tried so many other interventions or settings or programs, and now their child's able to learn. So it's very personal. I put every ounce of what I could into my students because I think any student deserves that kind of attention.
I often think about the concept of empathy, the ability to empathize. Do you think about that?
I do.
Do you try to imagine what it might be like for these children and their parents?
I don't walk in their parents' footsteps, but they've invited me into their homes. And I've been on the phone with them midnight. I've Skyped during, could be questions or meltdowns or sleeping disturbances that they need help with. I will never walk in their footsteps. The closest I have was with my son, but their life is very difficult.
Why? Describe what they're facing.
They're facing challenges that, especially in the preschool level. When you have a parent coming into preschool, they don't know what's going on with their child. Their child may have just been diagnosed or not even have a diagnosis. They may just have characteristics of, but not diagnosed yet. And it's very scary for them. And you as an educator you have to be very sensitive to their needs. You have to walk them through every step. And it's more than just teaching their kids. It's about really getting to know them and understanding their parents' needs as well as their child's needs. And how can they best feel that they can help their child. I've been in many, many homes where the parents just don't feel they can give enough to their child. And they don't have anybody to turn to. I mean, we know it's a fact, resources for children with autism or special needs is very expensive. And if I can give them the expertise that I have, then I'm going to do that.
And if they need other resources, I'm going to hook them up with that. Sometimes you have to break down that red tape for a child, because in the end, that's who suffers.
How are you able to do all that and still do for your own family?
There's a balance. There's a balance. It's a hard balance.
Do you ever get so consumed by your own students that it's hard to keep the balance?
No. There are times that, usually I put everything away until maybe my kids go to bed. And then I'll get on the email at 8 o'clock if I have to talk to a parent. If I have a meeting after school, I get out at 3 o'clock. So it's that extension of outside your time. It's not just a job for me.
So someone says your job ends at 3, you say?
No, it doesn't.
When does it end?
It ends when I stop receiving emails and phone calls from parents. But it's not going to end that way. My parents know, and that's something you put down, there are a lot of needs. And sometimes I may be the only resource, but they know and they respect, my family. They're not going to, impose on that. But I think it's how I can help that is by helping them after school or before school and bring them in for training and go home to train them. They're not going to need me as much anymore. They're going to take the lead.
And finally, the greatest reward you get out of your work is?
Watching a child learn. It's a moment that I'm going to tell you cannot describe it. It's a skill that you've been working on for months and months, and it's that moment it just clicks. And then they're able to demonstrate it at home. And it may be so small to us as educators because we look at the bigger picture, but for those parents and for that child, that was that stepping stone that's going to take them further than we ever knew.
It's no secret why Mark Mautone is the 2014-15 New Jersey Teacher of the Year. Thank you very much. You honor us by your presence and, more importantly, by the work you do every day. Thank you.
Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by United Water, the New Jersey Education Association, Wells Fargo, Berkeley College, MAGNACARE, the Russell Berry Foundation, and by Fedway Associates. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
Each year, Americans fill 4 billion prescriptions, but as much as 1/3 of that medication will never be used. Some of this waste ends up in the rivers, lakes, and streams that make up our drinking water supply. The United Water Foundation and the National Community Pharmacists Association have partnered to bring you a simple solution. Dispose your meds responsibly. Go to disposemymeds.org to find a participating pharmacy and to learn more. A public service message from the United Water Foundation and NCPA.